Hello, everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of the GamersGrove podcast. Today is February 26th on a Monday. I'm here with my hosts, Brady and Austin.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hello, guys. So, in terms of, before we get jumped into our usual stuff, in terms of our own development, we've got some new artwork that you're probably looking at right now. It's very nice. It was made by my good friend Josephine. We will have some links in our description for you to follow her and check out more of her art. Maybe commission some yourself, whatever. We also want to give a brief update on our website. It's currently just, our occasional podcast notifications, but we are slowly developing it, kind of always improving it with time, and we will start pumping out articles on it every so often. It's going to be mostly reviews, things of that nature, but there will be a lot of more lighthearted fluff articles too. All game related, of course, but so yeah, expect more of that from us.
I can't talk about my day.
Okay. How was your day, Austin?
Oh, I meant in the articles.
Oh, sure. You can do that too. If you spend a day playing a video game, then yeah.
Let's turn into a blog.
Yeah, why not?
And also, this has no date yet, but it is something we are working on. We're gonna have some scripted videos series coming out at some point. In games, it's very much in the works right now. We don't know how long it'll take, but that is something we are trying to do in the near future. So hopefully you'll see more of that from us. Also, live streaming every so often, just for funsies. That won't be scripted stuff. That'll just be more loose, us having fun playing whatever we feel like playing at the time. But with all that stuff out of the way, let's jump right into it with the games we've been playing. Brady, what have you been up to?
So this week, I actually just got it the other day, but it's a game called Cypher.
Okay.
It's pretty much a first-person puzzle game made in Unity. It's really simple in terms of the game itself. It teaches you about cryptography, just in progression of pretty much difficulty, starting off with some simple just cryptography terms and explanations, and it progresses into more complicated cryptography techniques. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really hard. There's only 40 or something levels, but it's very difficult. The first room, it's supposed to progress by difficulty. The first room was crazy hard, just very basic puzzles and everything. But yeah, it's a cool game if you're into that cryptography and kind of coding, deciphering codes and all that stuff. It's only $5 too on Steam, so definitely check that one out.
Nice. Well,
and then,
real quick, what for the people like myself who are not super informed, what exactly is cryptography? Can you just give a definition for that?
Pretty much just codes and deciphering of codes, and then encoding of different messages, and encodes and different ways of doing it.
Okay, that's cool. That's neat. It's so it's an educational puzzle game type deal. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not too versed on cryptography, so
Right.
don't know that much. But it's a cool puzzle game if you're not into all that stuff.
Nifty.
But also I got Kingdom Come.
Ooh.
Hey.
And it's a great game. I mean, everyone's been saying it's a great game, and it is a great game. I've played a couple hours. I'm still doing the first couple storylines, but I do have some gripes that I think should be mentioned. The main thing is the optimization. I feel like it's on the CryEngine, and the CryEngine's a great engine. It looks great. All the Crysis games, great examples of what it could do, but I just don't feel like Kingdom Come is well optimized for the engine itself. Like it's just loading times and it's not being smooth and everything else. Smaller stuff like that. It all adds up into not
the
being
best.
optimized that well.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I've been having some troubles with that as well. It doesn't run very well on my computer. I did download the little NVIDIA patch, and that did surprisingly like give me an extra like 10 frames per second while playing. But even then, like it's not like it definitely needs some optimization work. They said that we're going to be getting that patch soon, so hopefully that will be coming out soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm just curious. What are you guys running for settings?
Like in the game, or like what's my hardware?
In the game, not your hardware.
I have it on before I had to play it on the low settings, which I'll give it to them. It looks really nice even on low settings. But I had to run it at low to get about 45 to 50 frames. Since I downloaded that little NVIDIA patch, I can run it on medium with getting about the same 45 to 50. Hopefully, because I don't have like an super out of date computer, so hopefully once the patch comes out, I can make it look as beautiful as it is destined to be.
And actually enter cities without it dropping down to 20 frames.
Yeah,
seriously. Yeah, I have it on. I started off with like everything max. I always just see what it could do, and but I've since bumped it down to high, and I still get like drops here and there, which really annoying. But I think it's capped at 60 FPS. Like
yeah, it is.
I think which is kind of annoying. Yeah, I think it's probably for like VSync purposes, but sometimes if it's not capped, then you're running at like 80, like 90 or something, and then if it drops, you're still above 60, so it's not that big of a deal. But I wonder why they chose to cap it at 60.
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually did not know that. I
don't think the CryEngine like limits it or anything, does it?
I don't think so. It could just be a because it's also on the PS4. And maybe it has something to do with that. They don't have two separate versions.
Oh, come on.
Crap like that. We're getting dragged down by consoles again.
Yeah, right.
I don't. That's weird though.
Yeah.
But I think it has to do with VSync, like you said.
Yeah.
Most likely.
But I mean, if it drops below 60, then what's the point of VSync?
Yeah, right. I've also been playing it, and I have some things to say for it as well. It is, as everybody has said, it is quite fun. I dig that we got like a actual, very accurate medieval history game. That's my jam in a nutshell. It is very slow to start. Personally, I kind of, you don't really even learn the basic combat, like all of the basic combat controls until a good like 2.5 hours into the game, maybe even 3. So that was like, that's annoying just because you do like not a lot, but you do a decent amount of combat in that time before you like fully know what you're doing. You could say, I guess that's the point, because you are just some peasant boy who doesn't know anything.
Fair enough.
So I'll give it. I honestly like. I just thought of that, and that makes me like more okay with it now that I've said that.
I feel like this is one of those games that you're gonna have like a cult following where people really love it and people who really hate it. It just kind of depends, I think, on the player. Because I really personally like not being able to know what the hell I'm doing for a while and kind of having to figure it out.
Yeah, that is true. You feel really like
satisfied.
The like leveling up aspect of the game really feels like you're actually learning stuff, unlike in other RPGs. It's like, I got more skills to use. This is like I'm actually learning how to do this stuff because I'm some loser peasant boy.
And when you guys do get to learn more in-depth combat techniques, you actually physically train with an NPC. You don't just, you do unlock moves and stuff, but you also can physically train with an NPC and kind of practice those swings and stuff, which is I think is pretty cool. I don't think I've played a game that trains quite like this one.
That is cool. That's about like where I am in the game right now. I got my a squire status, so I've been learning how to fight like a real man. I like that the game it really over and over beats it into your head, but like you really are a nobody and just some chump. And the game, like, it kind of like sets you up to fail, where it's like, oh, like this nobleman is like talking crap on you, and you're like, oh, all right, I'll kick your butt, you know, I'll take you down, and then he just stomps you. and the game does that a lot in the first like couple hours. It's like, hey, remember, this isn't like other RPGs. You really are just some like peasant. Don't get ahead of yourself. And so, and I needed that constant beating because I kept forgetting. I was like, oh, I can take this guy, and then nope.
No Dovahkiins here.
Yeah, just peasant boy Henry.
Mm-hmm.
But shoot, there was one other thing I had to mention about it, but I think I've lost it. Oh well. Well, the game, yeah, it's a really cool game. I remembered the save system. I'll play the devil's advocate to myself first and give them props for it, because it's nice that they were willing to take the risk and try something so different. It didn't really work, in my opinion, but the fact that they gave it a shot, like, I can respect that, you know. It would have been easy, you know, like, everybody follows the same roads for the most part, especially like big AAA devs. So it's nice when a big, like, you know, an indie game makes it big, because indies are always trying, you know, unique stuff. You know, that's how we get games like Portal and, I don't know, Braid, all that kind of stuff, you know, them experimenting. And we got that a little bit with this save system. And even though it kind of fell flat in its face from the internet's perspective, they still gave it a shot. And even now they're sticking to their guns. Like, they're adding a save on exit feature, but that's it. Other than that, like, you know, they're keeping your savior alcohol, whatever.
Schnapps.
Savior schnapps.
Yeah, savior
so
schnapps.
I don't like the mechanic. It honestly is making me not play it right now. That's the one thing that's like preventing me from playing it more. I'm waiting for that save on exit, because otherwise, like, every time I go to play, I feel like I have to put in a good amount of time, or I'm wasting one of my save things, you know? So I just don't play.
Yeah, I feel like trapped. Like, if I'm, you know, getting tired, I want to go to bed. It's like, oh, like, I don't have anything to save, so I have to keep playing until I finish a main quest, but I have to watch like a 20-minute cutscene. It's like,
once you start to get more into the game, it becomes less of a hassle. You get the routine down, and you have a lot of money to spend on savior schnapps and stuff. But in the beginning, it's absolutely horrible. You lose like hours of gameplay sometimes because you just don't really get the saving technique down yet, or you just forget or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself like having to replay, like, I think my most time having to go back was like an hour and 20 minutes. But that's a lot of progress.
Yeah,
time like that. So
he's doing playing more.
I mean, that's totally my fault, but still, it's pretty frustrating.
I'm the type of guy who, if that happens to me, I'm gonna put the game down for like a couple months because I'll just be too annoyed to want to go back. Yeah, so I don't want that to happen because I do like that game. So I'm waiting for them to get the save on exit, and then, you know. Fair enough. But yeah, you know, props to them for trying. You know, that's respectable. It's nice for people to be mixing up what we think of as just like the general mechanics that are in every game. So, good job. Brady, was there any other games you wanted to talk about?
No, that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. Austin, what have you been doing?
I've been playing Kingdom Come this week, of course, and some Barotrauma. Picked that up. You guys told me about it.
Yes, we
played
did.
some of that the other night. That was kind of an interesting game.
Yes, it is.
I don't really know how to describe it other than Happy Wheels in a submarine.
That's not bad, honestly. Yeah. So what Barotrauma is? It's it's a submarine expedition kind of game, I guess. Like you play the crew that are in charge of a submarine on the moon Europa or planet Europa. And you just basically have to explore and find ruins or deliver cargo. But it's very complex. Like you have to run the submarine, and everybody has different roles, whether you're the captain steering it or the engineers making sure your reactors stay on, all that stuff. It goes very in depth. There's also spooky monsters in the water, giant shrimp with submarine eating shrimp. Yeah. But it's cool. It's weird that, at least for me, it's like very tense and sometimes scary too, but like it's very intense, but it's also very goofy. Like I don't know if that's what they intended. The guys have like kind of stopped developing it. But it like takes you out of it in a way. But I think of that in a good way. Like it lets me have more fun with it and be willing to just goof off with it, which I don't know if you guys like or hate that I do that, but that's how it makes me play.
Do they have Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a very, very fun game. It's free. We'll have a link for it in the description as well. Yeah, it's nice. What were you gonna say, Austin?
I was just gonna say, do they have a launcher, or do you have to download it from their site? Like, I know they have the application launch you download, but is it on any platforms? Like, I know it's not.
I checked.
Steam.
I looked around. I couldn't find it anywhere else but their website. I assume because seemingly they've just like stopped developing it. It looked like the last update for the game was like July of last year. It's probably just going to be on their website forever. But
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of too bad that it didn't seem to kick off like they had hoped it would. I mean, we only just really discovered it, so
yeah. I read that they said eventually, they might bring it to early access or something of the like. So I was assuming Steam, but if they stop developing it, I don't really think the timeline applies anymore.
Yeah, most likely not. But it's fun. It's cute in a horrifying way.
Good way to put
Anything else? Yeah. Anything else you've been playing, Austin?
That's about it. It's been kind of a Kingdom Come weekend.
That it has. Well, not to sound like a broken record, I've been playing more Fortnite. I do have new things to say about it, though, this time. There's Season 3 of Fortnite just started, so there's new stuff for people to unlock and all that fun stuff. You can't get the things from Season 2 anymore. They did also, there's a lot more rewards you can get this time around. They bumped up the Battle Pass tier from 70 to 100, so there's a lot more for progression for you to do. There's way more skins, emotes, all that kind of thing. So once again, it seems like Epic is really aware of what the people like in their game, and they're giving them more of it. They revamped the quest system. They've done it all. Good job, Epic, as always. There's still, I don't know, I think they implemented some new guns as well. I don't know that they did that gun mechanic like improvement that we talked about before. It doesn't seem like they did, but I'm sure
I don't
that's
think
still
so.
in the works.
I think they just added the hand cannon.
They added the hand cannon. Yeah, I think
and
that's
John Wick.
And John Wick, if you make it to the 100th tier of the Battle Pass, which is like their level up system, you unlock a John Wick skin. I've done the math. I'm going to get him. I've got to level up like 1.5 times a day. That's doable.
You gotta get those 5 other outfits first.
Yes, which are also all very cool.
Yeah.
I mean that's really it as far as Fortnite goes, though. They're always updating. It's usually just little small things, so I'm probably gonna talk about it like every week because that's how they work.
Yeah, why not? I wanted to give a quick numbers of what they've added as far as aesthetics.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So they added the John Wick skin and then 5 others. They added 3 new gliders, 3 new picks, and 3 new backpacks, and then 5 trails that you can see when you're skydiving.
Oh yeah, those are brand new things as well. The
Yeah.
backpacks and the trails are just brand new things implemented with this season. So more stuff for you to customize your dudes, which I'm all about. Outside of that though, the usuals being Fortnite and Kingdom Come, I started playing Danganronpa about a couple weeks ago, but I'm only just now wanting to talk about it because I've gotten far enough in it. It's a game Rebecca had me play. It's like a anime visual novel. I feel dirty saying that. But it's nice. It's a really, really good story. It did for a long time, like the first couple hours of playing it, I was kind of like, what the fuck is this? Like, when do I get to play the game? Because I've never really played a visual novel before, but once I got used to that, it was like, okay, just kick back and let the story unfold with your occasional interaction. It's nice. The story is really good. It's lots of twists and turns. It's like a murder mystery type of thing. Nice. And being that it's a visual novel, story is their one thing, and they've done it really well, so I'm liking it. It's also, they have the one part that is like an actual game. They basically, it's like you're a group of students on an island, you have to kill each other and not get caught.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right? It's very, very anime. But whenever somebody
teens?
No, it's just like you got to kill somebody. If they catch you, you get killed. If they don't catch you, everybody else gets killed and you get to go free. But so when someone dies, there's like an investigation, so you have to kind of explore the area, find clues to help you build a case to figure out who did it, and then it goes into a big trial, and you use all your evidence to debate like who the killer is and all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty cool. Like it's a lot of like note taking and remembering, where like items were placed and things like that. And that part is really fun. It's also overwhelming because they throw it all in your face at one time.
It sounds like a mix between Trouble in Terrace Town and like the game Salem.
Honestly, yeah. That's a really good...
It sounds fun.
It's fun. It is just like... It is like, if you've never played a visual novel, you just have to prepare yourself that most of the time you're just reading a story. And that was something that took me a long time to get used to. But it's good. It's a good story. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Well, that does it for all the games we've been playing. From there, we will jump into the news. The first thing being the DICE Awards happened. We talked quite at great length last week about that. We will keep it brief this time. Greater length than anticipated. But we will keep it brief this time. We're just going to mention the Game of the Year winner, which was Breath of the Wild, of course. Did anybody question it?
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that. It won in most of the categories that it was nominated for, kind of as we sort of expected. If you want to see the full list of the winners and all that, we'll link that in the description as well, because it would take us far too long to go through all of that again. From there, this is actually news it's been out for a while, but it's something we've been meaning to talk about for a while. CD Projekt Red is, I believe at this point, confirmed to be at E3.
Yes.
And to add to add even spicier news to that, they are rumored to be showing Cyberpunk gameplay behind closed doors. We won't see that. But there's also rumors of a new trailer and maybe a release date. So
if only.
You don't think we'll get it? You don't think we'll get a release?
I wouldn't count on it.
I just think
not a release date.
Yeah, they're just throwing things out there. They want everyone talking about it. I'm sure they're like pro at this by now.
It's another beep.
All the Witchers. Yeah.
Beep tweet.
Good one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just afraid. I'm afraid that they will have a release date and it'll be like years from now. So I think
I know that would almost be worse than just
yeah,
not,
exactly.
Like, even
no
if it came out
date.
at the same time, if it was like, hey, the release date's in like 2025.
Yeah, you're just
Like you should have just not told me.
Yeah, it's that's what I'm afraid of.
We're sorry, 2077.
Right. They're
Oh, yeah.
2025.
They're waiting for full immersion, and they're gonna wait until 2077 to release it.
Oh God.
I don't know. I think it's gonna happen. I think we'll get a new trailer for certain, and I bet you,
Yeah, new trailer.
I think we'll get a release date too, and I'll say like 2 years at most. This game has been, in known development for 5 years. You know, that's not to say it could have been in pre-production for long before that, and even just in development long before that. We got the trailer 5 years ago, and that's
If you call that a trailer, a teaser.
a teaser trailer. It's not good enough for Brady, clearly.
Just like moving, it's like a cinematograph picture.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It was. Don't make me hate that trailer. But I think this is the year. This is the year of CD Projekt Red. There's they got Gwent coming, the Gwent game.
Which they could. What if E3 is it's only for Gwent? Like
They might.
I know we're getting faked out.
huge news for Gwent or something. Just a troll.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but I think I'll have to look up the article, and if I find it, I will put it in the description as well. But I feel like I remember seeing a press conference or something where CD Projekt Red was saying how 2017/18 was the year of Gwent.
Yeah.
So we're definitely not getting Cyberpunk this year.
No.
No.
Yeah. Not this year.
They'd
have a lot to compete with too.
Yeah, that is true. There is a lot. What would be great is if they drop a Cyberpunk trailer and then there's a long pause and a release date pops up and it's the next day.
Yeah, right. That would be.
That's my hot take on it. That's what's gonna happen.
That would be
I
the highlight
wish.
of that show.
Yeah.
They would have stolen
they'd
like every
steal
E3 for the next
Yeah.
10 years with that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. But
I feel like
yeah,
there isn't that big of a following though for this. I could be wrong. I feel like it's
Witcher-
a big following,
Witcher
but not
3.
as big as you guys are thinking.
no, man.
I
Witcher
don't-
3?
I don't want to offend you, but
No, you're not. I'm curious. Okay. Before I say my piece, what makes you think it's not as big of a following?
I just haven't talked to anyone outside of you guys that have known what it is.
That's
back
fair.
Austin up though. I think there's a big between fantasy and sci-fi, especially Witcher, which is like pretty hardcore in terms of the RPG like aspect. I think it's a pretty big gap where some people like fantasy and then some people like sci-fi. So I could see like people not that like Witcher 3 not liking Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it could also be
Counterpoint.
a huge community for it that do like it too, on the other flip side of that, but also like I just think people don't know about it yet. I think people will be excited for it when they hear about it. But I haven't heard anyone talk about it outside of, the group here.
To be fair, there really isn't anything to talk about with it yet.
True.
Yeah,
That's
But,
very true.
thing too.
But you do have good points. I mean, Cyberpunk in general is a very like not underrated, but like almost unpopular genre. Like really outside of
pretty niche.
like Blade Runner and like Ghost in the Shell, there's really not a whole lot of Cyberpunk stuff out there. It does seem to be gaining popularity. We have Altered Carbon, Blade Runner 2049 just came out, and that was a decent
awesome.
hit. Was a box office failure, but whatever.
Yeah.
People liked it nonetheless.
It's a cool movie.
I do think though, you're right. Not many people know about this. It's kind of an unknown genre, and it's being based off of a tabletop RPG, which a lot of people don't play. But these are the guys that developed The Witcher 3. And
Right.
The Witcher 3 was one of the like fastest and biggest selling games like ever. And even for the people who didn't, Witcher 3 is becoming one of those games that like even if you've never like I won't say never played video games, but if you casually play video games, you may have heard of The Witcher 3 at this point because of how popular, how innovative it was, everything. It's like it's one of those games that like almost everybody knows about. And so just
exactly.
just riding off that coattail, that's not even speaking for the other 2 Witcher games and everything else that CD Projekt has done. That's a lot of eyes that are watching your next project. And when they drop that trailer, everyone's going to be like, oh, dang, here we go.
That's a good point.
They got government funded.
They got government funded
funding, for this too. So
what?
Yeah,
what is this about?
The Polish, I believe they're Polish. The Polish government gave CD Projekt Red, I think, $2 million.
Yeah, I think
to develop seamless multiplayer. And it has been confirmed that this quote unquote seamless multiplayer, whatever that may mean, is going to be in Cyberpunk. A lot of speculation right now about that is in the same way Grand Theft Auto 5 has like the big city that you can kind of walk around in. It'll be like that with Night City, which is the name of the main city that you play in. I think the seamless part will be jumping in and out of multiplayer, maybe, or going in. I don't know. Like it's hard to say because we really don't know anything. But
you could do a lot with that.
But the government gave them money. Yes, we can. The government gave them money though, so that's
cool.
That's tight. In other news, we have Payday. We talked about it, I think, 2 weeks ago. Payday 2 is now out on the Switch. Hooray! But it is a very, very out of date version of Payday 2. Boo.
Yeah, I mean, overkill on their bad streak, just continuing it. Really,
they just. Overkill was my favorite company. If you were to ask me like 3 years ago, I would have told you, I would have praised Overkill for hours on end about how great of a company they were. They've fallen from grace quite a bit. But essentially what's going on with this is it is update like number 160 something out of like 300 or so updates. So a lot of people are thinking it's back in the days when the Wii U was a thing, they were getting ready to port it to the Wii U. And then that never came to fruition. And now it's suddenly here on the Switch with an update that was about that time. So it's almost like they took their Wii U version and just slapped it on the Switch. And we're like, okay, we're good to go. Overkill CEO has come out and said, yeah, we just wanted it to get an early 2018 release. He said it more gracefully than that, but that's essentially the gist of what he was getting at, was just we wanted it out on the Switch as early as possible, for no reason whatsoever, just because
we want money.
Yeah, basically. It's a shame, really. It's like, it's also not surprising though. Most of the people that made Overkill, the Overkill that I love, don't no longer work with the company. All the time they left was about the time the company started doing kind of shady, scammy things.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and I mean that's fairly common practice in the game industry. You know, the guys who created it were all indie guys. They made it huge, then they get bored of being on top and they go leave the company and make another indie studio. It's very commonplace. But then whoever's left behind just destroys their name.
Apparently, there's no VoIP.
Yeah, there's no Well, that's a Switch thing.
Yeah, it's a Switch issue. There's no voice
input.
Chat input. Yeah, so
which is a weird, especially Payday's such a cooperative game.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's work together.
It's
really
super cooperative.
Yeah, so good job, Overkill. Shout out to you for, being stupid, I guess.
That's mostly
making
Nintendo's
me more
issue,
jaded
though.
than I already am.
That's more Nintendo's
it
issue.
Is.
They have to.
It is, but
yeah,
I'm still gonna blame Overkill a bit.
I wonder if they're going to add it though. I don't know if they've mentioned it because
Adding
some
VoIP?
people, yeah,
yeah. They have.
I mean, some people only play it like it's a handheld, but you can also play it on your TV. So some people may just play it at home. It's like every other console.
Way to play. That's
it's eventually going to use the Switch's online voice app, I guess, whatever that means.
Oh, okay.
I guess I bet you it's probably not very high up on Nintendo's to-do list, considering
Oh yeah, probably not.
most of their games are like just really single player heavy games. They have ARMS and I don't know, Mario Kart, but you don't really need VoIP for that because it's not really a team game. There's what is it? Splatoon, I guess, is the one I could think of that would really benefit from VoIP. But outside of that,
I think another thing is they want to encourage you to play it with another person, actually in person. Which just seems like a lot of the other games
anymore, though.
I mean, yeah, but that was like the big selling point when they're like, "Oh my,
that's right, their goofy commercial."
They're like, "Whoa." I don't know.
Splatoon actually has voice support now.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
So it's there, it's in place. It just Nintendo has to okay it for Payday to use it.
Oh. They probably wouldn't even use it anyways. They'd be like, "Yeah, we don't update our game, so."
Yeah, exactly.
So much shade being thrown at them today.
Since we're on the topic of shade, I'm just gonna bring this up with shady Switch ports. This is super old news, but I want to rant about it because you guys got me in a ranting mood. Skyrim on the Switch is a piece of crap.
Oh, I haven't seen
hot
anything
take.
about that.
Basically, look, Skyrim came out in 2011, 7 years ago, 6.5 now, I guess. It is the still buggy piece of garbage that it is on the Switch. They have had 7 years to fix some very commonplace bugs that are in that game. They did nothing to it and just slapped it on the Switch to put it on some other platform to get another, couple bucks out of them.
Yep.
I want to love Bethesda more. I do love Bethesda, but sometimes they make it very hard. They get away with doing a lot of things that other companies get destroyed for.
Yeah.
People like, the bugginess of the next Fallout or the next Elder Scrolls game. People are like, classic Bethesda, these goofy bugs. It's like, no, this is not okay.
Seriously.
They can't get
Especially
away with
company
it.
their size.
Yeah, exactly. With a company of their size, they could iron out a lot of the bugs that are in the game.
They did eventually.
They didn't. What do you mean?
Not in the Switch version, but I mean the other
Not
versions.
in any of the versions, man. You're just the unofficial patches that I can get from modders.
That's true. There is a lot that they didn't fix. The game-breaking ones they fixed, though, more or less. Just to play devil's advocate here.
You're right. They iron. No, it's devil's advocate. They did iron out a lot of the game breaking ones, but in the Switch, a lot of those, from what I've read, I don't have Skyrim on the Switch, but a lot of those more game breaky bugs are still there. Like if you go to the like the Skyrim subreddit for like specifically for the Switch, it's all just like, hey, I was doing this and this happened. Like this is broken, this is broken, this is broken. Please help, and nobody has solutions. So sucks for them, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's so old news. Everybody probably already knows that, but I had to mention it.
Random question, kind of off topic.
Yeah.
Would you rather see a new Elder Scrolls trailer or a Cyberpunk trailer at E3?
Ooh, Brady, why would you say that?
I think I was talking to Dylan or someone about it, but
I think
Elder Scrolls. It's about time. I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. If the new look, I would love a new Elder Scrolls. Is by far my favorite franchise of games ever. If Elder Scrolls 6 is what Fallout 4 was, I'm done with Bethesda. I hate Fallout 4. I hate what they did to that series. And even in Skyrim, it's a catch-22 for people like me, because it makes perfect sense for Bethesda to do this. They simplify the mechanics, they make it more streamlined for the general public, so more people buy the game, and more people do buy the game. It's like, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
But then there's the people like me who are like, oh, my immersion, I like my hardcore mechanics and stuff. And so that's the reason I hated Fallout, was just because they removed the RPG from that game and just made it like it's a cool shooter, yeah, but like the RPG element of it is gone.
Yeah,
so
that's true. It's very handholdy. I personally liked Fallout for the shooter aspect. I didn't think of it as an RPG when I went into it. I was like, oh, I get to shoot, radiated monsters. Hell yeah.
And that's all some people want.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
So. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm way more of an RPG guy, so it made me very sad that like that was all gone from Fallout 4. So I don't know. I would love I'd probably cry if we saw an Elder Scrolls 6 trailer. I'm not kidding you. Like, I still get chills from the Skyrim trailer. But it would, I don't know. If they simplify it any more than Skyrim was already simplified, I'd be very sad.
Yeah.
If I had to take it over Cyberpunk, I don't think, honestly, to actually answer your question, I think I'd want a Cyberpunk trailer. I'm willing to wait more for Elder Scrolls if it means getting Cyberpunk sooner.
Yeah, I think too, because also like Kingdom Come just came out, and I'm really into that RPG, so I'm covered as far as medieval RPGs go.
So give me a good sci-fi RPG.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
In terms of other, God, this is like a depressing week as far as news. It's all negative stuff. We had Metal Gear Survive come out, the game nobody wanted. It is like a zombie survival game. 10 years too late. No, don't say that. It takes place in the Metal Gear universe. It destroys its own lore and many other things. I'm gonna give the rundown again. I did it before, but I'm doing it again, of the Konami and Kojima history. Hideo Kojima makes Metal Gear. It's a huge success. He literally invents the stealth genre with Metal Gear. Eventually, Konami picks him up, and he makes a bunch more. He tries to say like 5 times, like, hey, I want this to be the last Metal Gear because like I don't want to run the series dry. And they keep going, no, you have to make more. Eventually, we get to Metal Gear 5. He makes it. It is a huge hit. It sells hundreds and hundreds of thousands, probably millions, I think. I don't know the exact numbers. It sells like crazy. It's got amazing scores, the whole 9 yards for a perfect game. Konami proceeds to fire him and says, we're done with Metal Gear and you and video games. Bye. They make the pachinko machine that we all know and love. And then they come back and announce that, hey, we are actually still making video games. We are using Hideo Kojima's IP that we've barred him from ever using again. And we're making this zombie survival game. It's very... I have not played it. I will not give them the money to even like review it myself. But from the gameplay I have watched and reviews I've read, it's very just like basic, I guess. It's a very frustrating game from the looks of it. It's like run around, get food and water, kill zombies to buy upgrades to get you more food and water. And that's the gist of it. But the reason I really brought it up was because Konami, being Konami, they give you one save slot in the game, and if you want more, you gotta pay $10. Yeah.
I feel like they'll change that at this point, though, with all the uproar. They'll pull it in.
That's the thing, man. This is the thing specifically, like, this is a Konami thing, but it's also a Japanese game development thing. They don't care about anything that anybody says about them. Nintendo's like this too. Nintendo, Konami, at least their Japan parts. Like, Nintendo America is really cool, but Nintendo Japan is very old school. They are just like, hey, you guys hate it? Suck it. We're just going to keep doing it. Like, they don't care. Konami does not care. I mean, we got a Metal Gear pachinko machine still out there, so you know. I honestly, I would love it if they were to revert that and, you know, maybe make the game good. They won't. I really, really feel like they don't. I hope to be proven wrong. I hate being so jaded about the game industry, but it's not going to happen, man. If anything, they'll make it, you have to pay $20.
Yeah, right. Like, all right, you guys complain. It's like, don't complain anymore.
Yeah.
Or else we'll do this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's a game in an outdated genre from a company that most of the gaming industry hates. So I hope it doesn't like do too well and they actually do just kind of stop making games. Konami will never go under because, like I said, they have pachinko machines and they make handheld games and they make a lot of money like in Japan, you know. But as far as like making like console video games and stuff, I would honestly just rather they stop, because at this point it's also, you're dragging Hideo Kojima's name through the dirt, or his IP. Yeah. And like, you know, whether you like those games or not, they're very much not for everybody. They're rather complex and they're just a little slow too, you know. They're action stealth games. The dude's like borderline genius with his innovations and gameplay stuff. You can't take that from him. He is very, very, very talented as far as gaming goes. He's always the type to create new things and innovate. He never like settles. Like every Metal Gear game has something new to offer, and in terms of gameplay was an innovation at its time in some way or other. And he's clearly keeping on with that with Death Stranding, you know. Yep. Yeah. The way he talks about it is just like mind melting. It's like, it's honestly, it's hard to process. Like the little bit of gameplay stuff he's talked about doesn't make sense because there's just nothing like it out there. So that'll be cool. But Konami, please stop. Just stop. Leave us alone. Stay in Japan and make money off your pachinko machines. That's great news this week. We do have one other thing, something more positive that we want to talk about. This is also something that's been in the news for a little bit, but we've been meaning to talk about and just not been able to because of time constraints. But Metro Exodus is a game that is coming this year, fall this year, I think. Austin, tell us about this one. You know the most about it.
So, Metro Exodus is going to be their new game. The previous games were based off of a book series, but I believe this one diverges.
That is correct. This is the first one not based on one of the books.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's going to be semi-open world, so you're not going to be in those claustrophobic tunnels that you were in the previous Metro games. You're going to actually be above ground. I guess the world is slightly more inhabitable, so you get to kind of explore open spaces to some degree. It's not going to be like an open world thing by any means, but there will be like maps, as far as I understand.
Real quick, to chime in, for anyone who does not know what these games are, Metro 2033 and the other one that I can't. Last Light, thank you. They are action games based off of a Russian book series about the world has ended, you know, nuclear war happened, and all of Russia lives in the metro tunnels underneath Russia, and are just trying to survive as best they can. And you play a dude who kind of travels the tunnels and staying alive, getting supplies, all that kind of stuff. So this one is a big step away from that. Like Austin said, you're not in tunnels anymore. You're out in the world. I guess it is somehow, in some way, slightly more habitable than it has been. So it's a big open world game versus being in little tunnels. But what else has it got going for it?
So previous games, you kind of had a trading system that was based off of bullets. So you kind of had to think before you shot, do I need these bullets to buy, supplies, or can I waste them on this monster in front of me?
I always liked that mechanic.
Yeah, I feel it was a really cool mechanic, but this completely changes the way I'll play the game at least, because this is gonna be more focused on a crafting based economy. So you're gonna want to find materials and craft things, whether compared to previously trading to get things.
Interesting.
And from what I understand, there's the hub, if you will, is a giant train. It's called Aurora.
That moves, right?
Yeah, it's going to
it
follow
moves
you
around the map.
throughout the game's progression. And then from what I understand, you can upgrade it. So that'll be pretty cool.
Oh.
Get more cars on it. I think as you probably collect more resources, you can build it up. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And the first 2 games take place over a few days of story-wise. And this one supposedly takes place over a year. So it's kind of more drawn-out story.
Wow.
There's going to be side quests in this, which I don't think there were in the previous 2 games.
Not really. Like there kind of was, but not. It was like pick something up on the way to, where you're going.
It was like optional things. But yeah, it's developed by 4A, publisher's Deep Silver, and it's going to be released sometime in fall on all platforms. So
Super
everyone can
excited.
pick it up and check it out. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, there are new factions in the world compared to the previous games. And the way you react with each faction when you encounter them actually will affect the way your story plays out, which will be pretty cool.
Okay.
And from what I understand, when you come across that faction again, they will behave accordingly to how you treated them previously. So that's kind of a big mechanic as well. That's changing.
I like that.
Yeah. And then lastly, I'm very happy about this. They are implementing an actual non-lethal route, which wasn't really there before. There was like stealth kind of non-lethal routes, but
you still had to kill everybody. Basically.
Yeah, you still had to kill everyone. So in this, it's going to be an actual viable option to play through.
That's cool.
So I'm excited about that.
That gives a nice bit of replayability. I am also very excited.
Exactly.
The Metro games are amazing looking. For one, they look a little dated now, but like when they came out, they were kind of like the pinnacle of graphical games.
I don't know. They have that Redux. That's pretty damn.
That is true. I haven't seen the Redux.
Oh yeah.
But I hear that it looks very nice, which wouldn't be surprising. Hopefully they
don't get like overshadowed, because I know like Red Dead and a couple other games, maybe new Battlefield, are coming out at the end of this year. So
they are releasing it at a very interesting time.
Yeah,
that is,
maybe even new Call of Duty. So
yeah,
there's a lot of things coming out in the fall as usual. So hopefully it doesn't get overshadowed. And
I almost wonder, like that's honest. I didn't think of that until you said it, but that's almost worth delaying it to like just so you don't have to deal with that competition, because they will get overshadowed. I guarantee you. Your everyday gamer who has like, only enough money to get like one game every so often. If it comes down to Metro and like Red Dead or the new Call of Duty, they're going to get those games, the games that they know and they trust and, know before even playing it is going to like meet their expectations. Whereas Metro is a bit more unknown, Deep Silver, nobody really knows as far as publishing. People aren't going to like pick it up on a whim if there's better options out there. So that is a good point. I wonder, it makes me worry for them now if they do release it in fall, that they won't really make that much money.
Yeah, maybe that's if it doesn't do well, they won't make another Metro game.
That would suck. I had a question. Do you know, Austin, you mentioned crafting more for the economy. Does that mean bullets are not at all currency anymore?
They didn't say explicitly that you couldn't use bullets. I think it's not going to play as much of a role. So I think you could still use bullets to trade. Okay. I could be wrong on that. But I think it's going to be mostly crafting. That's going to be your main source of gaining materials to create bullets and guns and stuff.
Okay.
As far as I've seen, so
that makes I wonder, because Metro was one of the honestly probably one of the only post-apocalyptic games that really felt like things were scarce. It was one of the only games where I really had to think about, should I sneak past these guys or can I afford to like use some of my ammo to shoot them? Because like even guys you kill, like every guy like will drop ammo, but it's like a bullet or two, you know. So ammo is really like, you know, I've got like maybe a clip and a half to get through here, and it adds a layer of tension that was really nice. And then, you know, on top of that, it also being your currency made it even more stressful, because it's like, you know, if I want to resupply and I don't have any bullets left, then I'm SOL. So I hope that if bullets not being the currency, they do find some way to have that kind of scarcity and tension in the new game. I'm sure they will, but it's still being enjoyable for people. I don't know. I have faith in them. I think both of the games are solid and they were released with very little issues. This is kind of like a new genre for them, I guess, open worlds. But I guess that is something to consider. Open worlds can be done very badly. You know?
I wouldn't. Well, see, you gotta be careful though, because it's not necessarily open world. It's just gonna be more open.
Is it not?
Maps. So in the previous games, you kind of went to different stations and stuff like that. From what I understand, it's like those stations or those locations will be more open. So you won't be in a tunnel. You'll be in a more open space where you can interact with the environment and stuff. But it's not going to be like a completely open world. You'll still have load screens between locations, I believe.
So it's just like way bigger levels, essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
Oh, okay. That actually, honestly, it makes me feel more comfortable than the thought of it being open world, because they can do level design. They've made it clear they have level design down. So that is actually reassuring for me. That's pretty cool.
If you check out the trailer, you know, it'll get you hyped for it. The environment looks really cool. You're like zip lining down from a cliff to your hub, Aurora, the train. So
there's a big radiation cinematic bear. It's very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trailer is awesome, and we'll have a link for y'all to look at that as well. I think that wraps everything up for this week. Thank you all so very much for listening, as always. We hope to see you next week. You can follow us on Twitter at GamersGrove. You can go to our website where we will post the podcast and more articles to come, gamersgrove.net. I've said this many times, so apologies for being a liar, but hopefully we will have this on iTunes this week. We're going to sit down and figure this out. I'll also try and get it on Google Play and everything else where I've seen people ask for it to be. But if it's not there, we'll be in the usuals: YouTube, SoundCloud, Audio Mac. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we hope to see you next week. So long.
Goodbye.